All right, Shalom. Call all Yahweh Shem Shah. Shalom to the elect. This video is just to show how ignorant and oblivious Esau is to who's really in control. Because they try to be proud. I won't even say oblivious because they know where their pride have deceived them, like the scripture says. So let me get this precept real quick. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 16. It says, thy terribleness hath deceived thee. And Esau going around being terrible to everybody on the earth done deceived them. They think they could just go around and bully people and bomb them to hell and back and force them into submission and do all this shit. And these nations ain't going to rebel. And on top of that, these nations ain't forget about past events, not just the events that's taken place in the past couple of years. Talking about events that took place 10, 20, 30 years ago and so on. And now these other nations don't build up their arsenal, which I'm going to get into why that happened. These nations don't build up their arsenal just to fulfill prophecy. Now it says, in the pride of thy heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Adonai. This is the other precept I want to get. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16. It says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created a waster to destroy. Now Esau was created just to show the Most High power. The Most High allowed Esau to get to the certain position on earth just so he can swoop in and show who really controlling stuff in the universe. But see, Esau got this little agenda. They want to set out and search the stars out and go to the planets and moons and all that different shit. But that's not meant for them. They lot this on this earth, like I mentioned in the book of Daniel. Every man should stand in their lot in these last days. They lot was to create them nukes. Then the information actually get out through different scientists to these other nations, and they get the nukes. That's why they always have these little covert missions and all that other bullshit. They be trying to make sure certain people don't get information and intel, like they call it. Certain people don't get this, certain people don't get that. And they end up with it. Why? So the Most High can put the spirit on them to use it against Esau. And that's what's going to happen. And primarily, the place where Esau dwell, which is over here in Babylon, America. So let me let this video play. I'm going to put some more precepts as they come to mind. And see, through the spirit, Iran already done created a lot of this shit. They just ain't putting it out there like that because, you know, Esau, once they find out you got more than them, they start doing bullshit. which you had the incident when they killed that one general, Soleimani, or whatever his name was, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pronouncing it wrong, Salakia. They killed that general, then they killed another a scientist over there, car bomb. And the world know who did it, but it's just these different nations, they have to be strategic. They ain't gonna just react a certain way. That's foolish. Well, what's gonna happen is, as it is written, Russia gonna be a guard to these nations because Russia already got the hypersonic missile. They might just need to tweak a few things on there, and guess who's gonna help them tweak it? These Persians, China, Moab. They're gonna help them tweak that stuff, man. So let me get a few precepts, Rick. I'm gonna pull another video as well. Book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. And that's what these nations doing, man. They not, hey, back then, you say like, maybe like the 40s, 50s, 60s, shit like that. These nations weren't linking up like that. Talking about we cutting ties with the U.S. She gotta wait. They weren't cutting ties with the U.S. like that because they didn't have a military arsenal. They ain't had a strength. Now they got the strength now. Now they got the arsenal. So now they can say, you know what? We ain't dealing with Esau ass. And if y'all want to, hey, these nations got a different spirit. See, a lot of people in the U.S., these motherfuckers get in the military to get perks and shit like medical care and financial assistance, living and housing and shit like that. These other motherfuckers cross seas, they want to be martyrs for their country. That's the worst type of people to go up against in the war. People that want to be martyrs because they don't care about taking you out and they self out. The people in Babylon, they're not thinking like that. They trying to go home to their wives and shit, kids, go back to their Mima, all that shit. So, hey man, the Most High gonna put the spirit on them in a major way, which he's been doing, but it's just gonna turn up even more. As you see what's going on, I was sitting down watching this video with the Secretary of Defense, and it was another guy in the military. I may bring it out later on. I don't want Rogers out. The spirit hit me to do so, I will. But the video was heavy, man, what they're talking about. And it made me think about a precept about the least of the flock, bringing them out. Because right now, Ukraine is that area, that's the least of the flock. But you can't forget about Iran dealing with Amalek over there. Amalek got some shit going on, too. They just haven't been talking about it too much in the news. Like I say, I don't want Ratazah. I'll bring that out as well in another lesson. I mainly want to touch on these nukes. Now, let me go to this other video. Hopefully they don't copyright strike me, none of that shit for this. Let me see if I can move that up. Now Esau's so fucking dumb. They created this shit just to go deal with all these other nations. Instead of doing just good business, they wanted to bully them. Now these nations got the same shit. And the name of this video, it say, America testing nuclear weapons on itself. And what do it say about digging a pit? Get that precept. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 27 said, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. Esau dug that pit, and like I mentioned in the previous video, them silos is in a deep ass pit, man. And they dug them pits, put them nukes in there, and them other nations did the same shit. So, hey, let me see, hold on. That's another precept I want to get to. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 8, it said, he that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh a hedge, a serpent shall bite him. And Esau definitely broke a lot of hedges, dealing with these different nations, going over there doing bullshit. And they snaked them out, not thinking they're gonna get snuck out, or get snaked out too as well. So let me let this play some more. Just let it play a little bit. I don't want to let it play too long. I would just pause that right there. Esau got a lot to pay for, man. They did a lot to our people too. Mainly our people primarily, but they don't did a lot to a lot of these different nations, man. So they don't reach the heavens, man, and they got to pay that shit. So let me see what other presets I want to get. While I'm getting this, I want to say you look up the information on these nukes. They say they reach 100 million degrees Celsius, man. That's hot as hell. So let's see. You got a lot of people who don't think this gonna happen. I was talking to this woman about that, and she's, she tried to play like this shit ain't scary. This something scary, man, because you don't know who's gonna make it out of this. Don't nobody know if they gonna make it out of this. You have faith that you are, but this one you've been saved or delivered when this event right here take place. Now, Book of Revelation, I'm gonna read chapter 20, precept, and I'm gonna read 21 too as well. It says, "And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death." So, which cuts that hell doctrine, because if hell is hot and on fire, how is it cast into another lake of fire? That don't even make sense. But anyway, Book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 8, it says, "But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." Because the first death was with water. The second one, go back. This is the second one gonna be right here, man. And the woman tried to tell me that ain't really scary or spooky like that. Shit, you crazy as hell. You look up and you see this shit dropping, then you might be in a certain area where it don't hit directly, but you see that wave of fire coming, and that ain't scary. Oh, okay. But people say that shit. I don't see a lot of horror movies. That right there, that's the worst horror movie. Matter of fact, they actually made films about that shit. So let me see. Book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, it says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night." And right now it's prime time. It's summertime. People, I ain't gonna say it's happening right now, but we super close to this happening. Was that Karagma getting made mandatory? And I was just looking at another Akin video. He was mentioning how they plan on doing a cyber attack on the financial system. So what's the next step once the dollar collapse and all that stuff and the crypto and all that? They're gonna push out their Karagma. They're like, oh, the bank's closed down. You can't get your money out. Credit cards not working. ATM not working. Your Apple Pay not working. Your Google Pay not working. Cash App and your Zelle and all that shit not working. MoneyGram down. Western Union down. But we got this new system right here. If you just go ahead and get this, our other updated system will be up and you'll be directly connected to the system. And that's how Esau gonna push this shit out, man, through the spirit. Of course, they gonna say, oh, terrorists plan on bringing down the system and doing a cyber attack. Everybody already know Esau like to set up psyops. Esau will go do the shit or pay somebody to do the shit or put it in somebody's mind. They might give them the money and the technology and the other resources and location to do it and put it in their mind and do certain stuff, and then come back and act like they ain't tell them to do the shit and then play the superhero the whole time they the villain. That's Esau for you, man. But all that stuff gonna lead up to all these prophecies being fulfilled. Now it says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up." And what's gonna do that? It's only one thing. You see what it did to Japan, and that was just an atomic bomb. Imagine what them hypersonic shit's gonna do. And they don't up the ante on that. That's crazy, man. But the Most High got to put Esau, these Edomites, these Amalekites, and these heathens in their place, man. And a lot of our people, too. A lot of people don't think that the Lord going to send Yahweh Shabbat. They don't think that the Most High going to send Yahweh Shabbat, Salaki. And with all them angels And the ship's been showing themselves. The ship's been showing themselves so much. You can put up documentaries now where people actually got real live footage of the ships. They've been painting them and drawing them back then in ancient times. Then they weren't seeing them then. That's why they was painting them. Same thing now. You got people, they might paint them, take pictures of them, or describe them and text. So the angels been showing themselves more and more, man. Which means one thing, we that much closer. Angels putting the mark and the man's head, the forehead is the man that sign that cry. So you don't feel wrong when you make a plane or sign cry by Babylon. This place wicked, man. No matter what you try to do, no matter what type of position you get, what type of place you be in, you can't really do what you want to do. You can't serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushua in a righteous manner. You gotta deal with these heathens, you gotta deal with these Edomites, you gotta deal with the nigger woman, you gotta deal with the Edomite woman, you gotta deal with all that shit, man. Whole time you just want to be at peace. But the Most High gonna make it so we can dwell in peace, man. In order for us to do that, you gotta shake shit up. And this is how you gonna shake shit up. Now, let me get this last precept, man. That's all. Revelation chapter 18, verse 17, it says, "For in 1 hour so great riches has come to night, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off." Why? Because of this right here. But it's going to be on a bigger level, though. It ain't going to just hit one area. The scripture say, "All ye that bend the bow, spare no arrows." Them arrows is talking about nukes. And these nations not going to spare it once they get a chance. It's like when you ever been to a shooting range, and it's your first time or whatever, you get a chance to let that whole clip go. You're going to let that whole clip go. These nations, they ain't shot them nukes yet. When they get a chance to shoot them, I'm just using an analogy, a comparison. When they get a chance to use them, they not letting none stay in them silos. They letting all that shit go. So that's what we got to look forward to soon. Not no 10, 20 years from now. Hell, not even no 5 years from now. The way stuff looking, man. 5 months. It don't take that long for Babylon to switch up. Look at how the pandemic happened. In 5 months, things can be changed up from the norm that we dealing with right now. You go to your 9 to 5, you may have your own business and all that stuff. You're dealing with your woman or your women if you have multiple women. She can change up instantly. Yeah, it don't take nothing but a certain event. So I just want to bring this out. I don't want to write this out. Just edifying. Call all your Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Shalom to the elect.